What's up, YouTube? Welcome or welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network, where all men and boys are welcome and our issues are treated with the respect that they deserve. Where excellence is our goal. A place to remind you that you are loved, that you do have intrinsic value, and it suggests that you do yourself no harm. A couple days ago, we lost rapper PnB Rock out in California to gun violence, completely unprovoked. And it's sad because it's so many lessons we can learn from what happened to this young man. 30 years old, and his story is over. All because somebody wanted what he had, and they weren't willing to put the work in to get what he got. When you make it in this world, and those of you who are on your path grinding towards where it is you want to be, sometimes the people around you aren't prepared to deal with that because they build a box for you. They want you to fit in. And so when you start growing as a person, when your success starts to expand, you can't fit in that box they built for you without your permission. So they, rather than be excited for you, rather than be supportive of you, rather than big you up on your path to where it is you want to go, they will try to undercut you or sabotage you along the way. And the problem with that is, fellas, you have to be very careful how you move. You got to be real careful. The people around you are there for the right reasons and are supposed to be there. And sometimes you'll come across people who will see your success. They'll see you on the path to becoming the guy you always wanted to be, and they'll say goofy things to you like, "Man, you acting different now, bro. You ain't even like you used to be." Well, yeah. I'm not like I used to be because the guy I used to be wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. Sad, man. Young guy. To be fair, he stayed drippy. Plenty of jewelry on him. Lots of diamonds, lots of gold. And I understand a lot of guys who make it that far. Sometimes even half that far. They want to be out here. They want to show off what they worked so hard for. I get it. But the problem is, especially, and I know I got a lot of different types of guys who watch my content. Shout out to everybody, no matter where your ancestors came from. I love y'all. Glad you're here. But here in my community, in the black community, there's a real crabs in the bucket style mentality. And those of you who never went crabbing before, it works like this. If you get a bunch of crabs in a 5-gallon like Lowe's or Home Depot bucket, and they'll start building a body bridge with themselves to let one crab climb almost out of the bucket. And I say almost because that same crab they built a bridge for on their backs for him to get out. And as soon as they think he's getting to the top, they'll snatch him back down to the bottom. The first time I saw that, I couldn't believe it. Then it made perfect sense. Shout out to my homeboy from back in middle school, my boy Alex, white kid with freckles, what I'm saying? Real cool guy, man. Never treat me nothing different. We was friends from day one. Real cool guy. I forgot what his dad did for a living back then, but I know it paid him well because the very first time I ever went to his house, I realized his life is way different than the life I was living. The neighborhood he lived in, the cheapest house out there might have cost 800 grand. It was crazy. I saw how quiet it was. I saw nobody out front shooting dice in front of the store up the street. I saw a different world. And I could have got jealous that my dad didn't make what his dad made. I could have got jealous that he had toys in his toy box I didn't have. I could have got jealous that he got to wear designer fashions my folks couldn't afford. I could have got mad about that and got in my feelings about that. But instead, I got inspired. Because when I see somebody doing well, I say, God has no respecter of persons, and what happened for that guy can happen for me. And that's how I move. But at the exact same time, the people in your circle, back in your neighborhood, if they see you attaching yourself to that kind of mentality, everything's cool. As long as you're doing good. Until you start doing better than them. And that's a problem all of a sudden. It's so much going on in this world, fellas, and we as guys on our purpose have to be very careful how we operate in this life, because not everybody who smiles on your face has your back. Sometimes the folks who smile on your face want to stab you in your back. It goes back to something my dad told me when I was in kindergarten, first grade. When I was scared to death to go in that school for the first time, he looked me in my face outside by the flagpole and said, "Son, go inside and make a friend. But as you make friends, stay away from the liars. Because a liar will steal and a thief will kill you." Now that don't hit the way it's supposed to when you're 7 years old, 6 years old. But as a grown man, I see it now every day. And I thank him for the advice. God, man, what can we learn from this tragedy? What can we learn about what happened to PnB Rock? I can think of 3 things. 1, you got to watch your back. You need to keep your head on a swivel, especially if you're a flashy type dude, and he was. No doubt about it. He loved his chains, he loved his watches, he loved his rings. He was a flashy dude with the fronts, the whole deal. You got to be careful, man, because if you're out here and you're doing your thing, you got to move quietly in these streets, because that green-eyed monster, that jealousy, that envy turns to rage, and rage leads to destruction. And our brother's been destroyed. Gone. Never coming back. Don't let it be you, fellas. Be careful out here. Number 2, train. That's right. I'm going to catch heat for this, and I don't care. Train the girl you claim as your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, whatever. If she has an assignment given to her by you, she needs to be trained to not post you guys' location. This clout chasing move will get you more caught up than anything. And it's what got our man murked out here. Now I know a lot of folks gonna say, "Yo, B, you going too hard at this girl, man. She couldn't have seen this coming." Okay. I'm gonna halfway go for that. But you gotta understand, when you're dealing with a high profile guy, and PnB was an East Coast cat, like me. He was from Philly, I'm from VA. But PnB is 3,000 miles from home. For whatever reason, he decided not to bring any security with him. But I mean, that's neither here nor there at this point. Now we Monday morning quarterbacking at that point. But I'm saying you have to be mindful. You watching this content have to be careful that the woman you attach yourself with is not the type of female that's got to be posting everywhere y'all go when you're still there. Shout out to Andrew Tate. In the interview he did, he had to check his girl with that same nonsense. Hey, put the phone away. That's how they got Pop Smoke, he told him. Shout out to him. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. If the woman you're dealing with is unwilling or unable to stay off the internet long enough to follow your instructions, if she can't do what you expressly tell her to do in terms of not giving away your location to those who may want to harm you just because they don't like you or because they want what you got, that is a red flag, deal breaker. She needs to be dismissed from your life at that moment. No questions asked. Get up from the table, leave her there with the check. Go. Because you can't put yourself in position by having someone in your life who can't follow the simplest of instructions that may end up saving your life as a result. Dump her on the spot if the internet and likes and clicks is more important than your safety. 3, try to stay away from the things that dope boys want. Where I grew up, all the dope boys had the chains, the jewelry, they had the fronts in their mouths, they had their hair cut a certain way, they drove certain kinds of cars, set up on 24, 26-inch rims, and you knew what time it was. These guys never paid taxes in their life, but they was getting money. So if you emulate what they doing, that's giving those guys an unofficial green light to come and see about you, man. And take away from you what they've been slinging poison to buy. You've been putting in hours on the clock to buy. Your money's legit, they money's dirty, but they can't differentiate because all they see is what they like. Now look, I get it. For those of you guys putting in work, you probably saying, hollering at the screen right now, saying, hey man, I work hard for mine, I'm gonna flex my shit. Okay, I got that. And I can respect the man who's putting the time in, putting the grind in. I get it. But you have to think about the way this world is going, fellas. You got to think about the fact that these people out here are not willing to do what you do. They're not built like you. They don't think like you. And you got to make yourself a hard target. You either have to surround yourself with security professionals if you can afford it. You need to accumulate your own team of hitters, guys in your own family or guys you came up with to still ride with you. Or you need to be like the millionaire next door. The chains, the rims, the designer labels, guys who haven't worked as hard as you have and never would put the work you put in would gladly take yours instead of working for their own. If you're the kind of guy that puts in extra shifts and you're not one of the folks who are pretty much bum rush each other to get to the time clock at the end of the workday and instead of dive bombing each other to get to the parking lot when you ask for extra hours, you gotta know they're not built like you. And that envy will come back to bite you in the worst possible ways. I mean, think about it. Warren Buffett is worth $97 billion, and he still lives in a 3,600 square foot house he bought back in 1971 for 150 grand. That guy has enough money, he could live anywhere, have houses all over the place, and that's where he stays. He's called that place home since the early 70s. Sam Walton, matter of fact, the guy who invented Walmart, when he passed away back in 92, he was worth about $15 billion in today's money, once you factor in inflation. His favorite vehicle out of all the cars he owned was a 1979 Ford F-150 with a rusted quarter panel. That guy could have had a fleet of Lamborghinis and a matching fleet of Ferraris, one for every day of the week. But that's how he got down, with billions of dollars in the bank. Hell, I'll give you another one. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple Computers, co-founder. Shout out to Mike Watson. Yeah. Steve Jobs was worth about $10 billion when he passed back in 2011. What did he wear every day? Everywhere he went, a black turtleneck and a pair of Levi's. What's the moral of the story, man? The moral of the story is you don't always have to look rich in order to be rich. Fellas, in closing, you got to watch your ass out here, man. Enjoy your wealth. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. But please be smart about it. Please do not let the people in your life post where you are while you're still there. If you want to take pictures of the place you're at and what you're doing and some videos, and you want to post it an hour after y'all leave, then so be it. But don't still be there for the hitters to come get you, man. I want all of you guys to live a long and endeavored life, and I want you all to have the best this life has to offer. Rest in peace to PnB Rock, man. Condolences to his family. That said, that's my time. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I drop a new video. Leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on this? Share this video with a friend. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Till next time, fellas, the Save Men's Lives Network. Plenty more to come.